Part 2 of 100 Mind Traps. The ultimate guide to your most common thinking errors dives deeper into the mental patterns that hold you back. Here you'll uncover how these traps influence your daily decisions and learn practical strategies to overcome them, so you can unlock your full potential and take control of your thoughts. Chapter 21. Be fully present in everything you do today. To be fully present in everything you do today is one of the most powerful choices you can make for yourself. It sounds simple, but it requires you to take control of your attention and commit to being intentional with how you approach each moment. The truth is, too often we're distracted. We think about the past, we worry about the future, and we let the busyness of life pull us in every direction, except the one we want to go. But there is a better way to live, a more meaningful, focused, and fulfilling way. By training yourself to be fully present, you unlock a new level of clarity, productivity, and peace. When you are fully present, you stop drifting through life on autopilot. Instead of being consumed by distractions, you start to experience each moment as it is, giving it your full attention. You're not rushing to the next task or worrying about what you have to do next. Your focus is on the now. This shift in mindset isn't just about being productive or efficient. It's about enhancing your quality of life. The more you practice presence, the more you'll realize just how much you've been missing by not living in the present. Think about a time when you were completely immersed in something. Maybe it was a conversation with someone you care about, a task you were focused on, or a moment of pure relaxation. In those moments, time seemed to slow down, didn't it? You didn't feel overwhelmed or distracted. You felt centered and in control. That's the power of presence. It's not just about being focused. It's about truly engaging with what's in front of you. And the more you can cultivate that in your everyday life, the more you'll see the benefits in every area of your personal and professional world. Being fully present is not just a one-time decision. It's a habit, a choice you make over and over again. And like any habit, it takes practice. The first step is recognizing when you're not present. Most of us don't realize how much time we spend thinking about other things when we're supposed to be focused on the task at hand. Maybe you're at work, but your mind is elsewhere. Or maybe you're with a friend, but you can't stop thinking about a problem. This is where the power of awareness comes in. Once you notice that you've slipped into autopilot mode, you can consciously bring yourself back to the moment. A simple yet effective way to do this is by focusing on your breath. When you notice yourself drifting, take a deep breath, pause for a moment, and refocus on what's in front of you. By doing this, you'll train your mind to return to the present more naturally. Over time, your mind will become less prone to distractions, and you'll find it easier to stay present. Another way to stay present is by eliminating distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, from smartphones to social media to constant notifications. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the noise. But the truth is, distractions take away from our ability to focus on what truly matters. When you're constantly interrupted, your brain has to switch gears, which can make it harder to get back to the task at hand. By creating a distraction-free environment, you're setting yourself up for success. Turn off unnecessary notifications, put your phone on silent when working, and create spaces where you can focus without constant interruptions. One of the most powerful things about being fully present is the way it enhances your relationships. When you give someone your full attention, you show them that they matter. You listen actively, engage with what they're saying, and show up with intention. This not only improves your relationships, but also helps you understand people better. You stop rushing to respond with your own thoughts, and instead you truly listen. This is a game changer in personal and professional relationships alike. Being present also has a profound impact on your mental health. When you live in the present, you're not dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about future problems. Instead, you're focusing on what you can control right now. This shift in perspective reduces anxiety and stress, and helps you feel more in control of your emotions. It allows you to embrace life as it is, without the need to constantly compare it to what it could be. There's also the matter of productivity. When you're fully engaged in your work, you do it with purpose and clarity. You don't waste time second-guessing yourself, or getting distracted by irrelevant thoughts. Being present allows you to tackle tasks one by one, with focus and efficiency. It's about quality, not quantity. Instead of rushing through tasks to check them off a list, you approach each one with care and intention. This doesn't just make you more productive, it makes the work more fulfilling. You start to take pride in each moment of progress, no matter how small. Of course, there will be times when it's challenging to stay present. Life is busy, and distractions are inevitable, but the key is to be gentle with yourself. You won't be perfect at it, and that's okay. What matters is your commitment to getting better, one day at a time. Each time you bring yourself back to the present moment, you strengthen your ability to stay focused and engaged. Over time, it becomes easier to ignore distractions, clear your mind, and really be in the moment. One of the most important aspects of being present is learning to appreciate the now. Too often, we get caught up in chasing after future goals or reminiscing about the past. But when you constantly look ahead or look behind, you miss the beauty of the present moment. Think about the things you often take for granted: the feeling of the sun on your skin, the sound of laughter from friends, the joy of a quiet moment alone. These are the moments that truly matter, and being present allows you to savor them fully. Another important thing to keep in mind is that presence isn't about forcing yourself to be constantly on. It's not about never zoning out or never relaxing. Being present means being aware of your actions and choices, not being on autopilot. If you need a break, take it. If you want to relax, do so without guilt, but do it intentionally. When you're not working, allow yourself to truly rest. When you're not socializing, give yourself permission to be alone. There's power in making choices with full awareness of what you need and what will help you recharge. Finally, the more you practice being present, the more you'll realize that it's about more than just a single moment. It's about shifting your mindset for the long term. You start to approach life with more intentionality and care. You make decisions with purpose, and you live with intention. Your days become filled with meaning, and every experience becomes an opportunity for growth. Being fully present is not about achieving perfection. It's about taking control of your mind and living with intention. It's about becoming more aware of your thoughts and actions, so you can choose to focus on what truly matters. When you commit to being present in everything you do, you open up the possibility for greater fulfillment, better relationships, and a life lived with purpose. Today is the day to start. Choose one area of your life where you can practice presence. Maybe it's during a conversation, or when you're working on a project, or even during your daily routine. Bring yourself back to the present moment, over and over again, and notice how much more engaged and focused you become. And as you continue to practice, you'll realize that each moment becomes a chance to truly live, uninterrupted, unburdened, and fully alive. Chapter 22. Track your time and remove what is useless. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. Yet many of us let our time slip away without even realizing it. We fill our days with tasks that don't move us forward, get caught up in distractions that waste our energy, or let others dictate how we should spend our time. But what if you could take full control of your time? What if you could track where your time goes, and more importantly, remove what's useless? The first step to mastering your time is understanding where it goes. This can be an eye-opening experience. You may be surprised to see just how much time is spent on things that don't serve your goals or add value to your life. It's easy to fall into habits of wasting time, thinking you'll get to the important stuff later. But when you look at your time through a clear lens, you realize that every moment counts. Every hour is an opportunity to move closer to your goals, or to let it slip by unnoticed. Tracking your time may sound tedious, but it's one of the most effective ways to reclaim your life. There are various ways to track time. Some prefer using an app or digital timer, while others find pen and paper to be more effective. The method doesn't matter as much as the discipline of actually tracking how you spend each part of your day. Start by being honest with yourself. Write down everything you do in a day, whether it's work, leisure, eating, sleeping, or scrolling through social media. Be specific. The goal is to see exactly where your time is going and identify areas where you can make improvements. You might find that you're spending hours on things that offer little to no value. How much time do you spend on your phone? How many times do you check emails or social media, only to find that you've wasted 20 minutes on something insignificant? Or how often do you watch TV shows or movies that don't really add anything to your life? When you track your time honestly, it's easier to spot these habits. The problem isn't that you enjoy certain activities, but that they can easily consume more time than they deserve. Once you have an honest record of how you're spending your time, the next step is to evaluate. Take a close look at your time log and ask yourself, is this activity contributing to my personal growth? Is it bringing me closer to my goals? Or is it just a distraction? We all have tasks that we need to do, but how many of them are simply filler activities that make us feel busy but don't really matter in the grand scheme of things? Think about your most important goals in life. What do you want to achieve? Do your current activities align with those goals? If not, it's time to start removing the things that don't serve you. We often hold on to habits, activities, and even people out of habit, not because they truly benefit us. This could mean cutting back on watching TV or scrolling through social media, eliminating unnecessary meetings, or saying no to activities that drain you without offering any return on your time. One of the most powerful ways to free up time is to delegate or outsource tasks. Often we spend too much time on things that don't require our direct involvement. For example, if you're running a business, you might be handling tasks that could easily be done by someone else, allowing you to focus on higher-level responsibilities. Similarly, if there are household chores that you could delegate to someone else, or hire someone to do, why not free up that time? Another critical step is to set clear boundaries around your time. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. People ask for our time, whether it's through meetings, emails, or phone calls. But when you track your time and realize just how precious it is, you start to say no more often. Saying no is one of the most powerful ways to protect your time. It's not about being rude, but about setting boundaries that allow you to focus on what really matters. It's okay to decline invitations or requests that don't serve your long-term goals. When you start to value your time, others will respect it as well. Once you've started to identify and eliminate useless time wasters, you'll also want to focus on being more intentional with the time that remains. It's easy to get distracted and lose focus, even when you're doing something that's important. But when you're aware of how much time you have and how quickly it passes, you start to use it more wisely. One way to do this is by setting specific blocks of time for each task. This method is often called time blocking. By dedicating certain hours to specific tasks, you eliminate the chance of wasting time jumping between different activities or letting distractions pull you off course. Time blocking can be especially effective when combined with prioritization. Start by listing your most important tasks for the day. What absolutely needs to be done? What tasks will move you closer to your goals? Once you've identified your top priorities, block out time on your schedule to work on them. During these blocks of time, eliminate all distractions and focus solely on the task at hand. Whether it's working on a project, learning a new skill, or making progress toward a goal, these focused time blocks allow you to make meaningful progress. As you continue to track your time and remove distractions, you'll also want to implement regular reviews. At the end of each week, take some time to look back at how you spent your time. Did you waste more time than you expected? Did you prioritize the right things? By reflecting on how you're spending your time, you can make adjustments and stay on track. This review process also allows you to see just how much you're accomplishing. It's easy to feel like you're not making progress, but when you look back and see how much time you've saved by cutting out distractions, you'll realize just how much more you're getting done. It's important to recognize that time management is an ongoing process. You may never fully eliminate every distraction or perfect how you use every minute of your day. And that's okay. The key is to keep improving. The more you track your time and make conscious decisions about how to spend it, the more control you'll have over your life. You'll be able to focus on what really matters, make progress on your goals, and create space for the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. By tracking your time and removing what's useless, you gain a sense of ownership over your life. You no longer let time slip away unnoticed. Instead, you make every moment count. The more you focus on what truly matters, the more you'll see your productivity, success, and satisfaction increase. Time, after all, is one of the most powerful tools you have when you use it wisely. Chapter 23. Ask for feedback and use it to improve. If you want to grow, you can't do it alone. No matter how disciplined, focused, or driven you are, Your personal perspective will always have blind spots. You'll miss things about your habits, your decisions, your results, things that are obvious to others, but hidden from your view. And that's where feedback becomes one of the most powerful tools you can use. But asking for feedback takes humility. It requires courage. Because to ask for feedback is to open yourself to the possibility that you're wrong, that you're missing something, that you still have a long way to go. And that's exactly the mindset that separates people who stay stagnant from those who rise. The people who keep improving aren't the ones who pretend they've got it all figured out. They're the ones who keep looking for what they haven't figured out yet. Feedback gives you the clarity that self-reflection alone can't always provide. It challenges your assumptions, highlights your weaknesses, and shows you where you need to level up. But it's not just about asking anyone. You have to ask the right people. People who are honest, people who want to see you succeed, people who aren't afraid to tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. When you ask for feedback, don't ask to be praised, ask to be sharpened, ask to see what you're not seeing, ask where you fell short. Most people want to protect their ego, so they only ask questions that lead to compliments. That's not real growth. If you want to get better, you have to seek out criticism. You have to be willing to hear that something you thought was good actually wasn't. And you have to be strong enough to use that information to make changes. The most successful people in every field ask for feedback constantly. Athletes review their performance after every game. Writers get edits from their editors. Entrepreneurs listen to their customers. They don't just wait for feedback to come, they chase it. Because they know that without feedback, improvement is slow, clumsy, and incomplete. But with the right feedback, growth becomes intentional. You're no longer guessing, you're adjusting based on clear insights. If you want to improve, ask the people who work with you what you could do better. Ask your friends how you come across. Ask your mentor where you seem to be holding yourself back. Ask someone who has no reason to lie to you what your weaknesses are. Most people won't offer feedback unless you invite them. And even when you ask, they might hold back unless you make it clear that you really want to hear the truth. You have to create a space where honesty is not only accepted, but appreciated. When someone gives you honest feedback, even if it stings, thank them. Let them know you respect their honesty, because most people won't tell you what they really think. When someone does, it's a gift. But getting the feedback is just the beginning. What matters most is what you do with it. A lot of people ask for feedback, but ignore it when it's not what they wanted to hear. They defend themselves. They justify their actions. They get defensive. And in doing so, they stay exactly where they are. If you're going to ask for feedback, you have to drop the ego. You have to be willing to sit with the discomfort of hearing that you didn't do as well as you thought. And then you have to do something with it. Don't just hear it, apply it, test it, adjust based on it. Improvement is in the application. That's where the transformation happens. You take what someone said and you reflect on it deeply. You ask yourself, is this true? Do I see this pattern in my life? Have other people mentioned this before? And then if it holds up under scrutiny, you start making changes. You correct your behavior. You upgrade your mindset. You change your process. That's how you grow. The hard part about feedback is separating what's helpful from what's not. Not all feedback is valuable. Some people give feedback based on their own insecurities, jealousy, or lack of understanding. That's why you have to consider the source. Is this person qualified to give me this advice? Do they have my best interest in mind? Do they understand what I'm trying to do? If the answer is no, then take the feedback lightly. But if the answer is yes, listen closely. They're showing you the cracks in your foundation, not to tear you down, but so you can build stronger. Sometimes the most helpful feedback is the kind that hurts the most, because it reveals a truth you've been avoiding. It exposes a flaw you didn't want to admit. It shows you something that's been limiting your progress. But those are the moments that can trigger real growth. The kind of growth that changes everything, that gives you the insight you needed to take your performance, your habits, your character to the next level. The more comfortable you become with receiving feedback, the faster you'll evolve. You won't waste time repeating the same mistakes. You'll make corrections sooner. You'll adapt more quickly. You'll identify your weak spots and strengthen them. Feedback is not a judgment. It's not a personal attack. It's a tool. And how you respond to it reveals how serious you are about your goals. If your first instinct is to defend yourself or argue, you're not ready to grow. But if your instinct is to learn from it, even when it's painful, you're on the right path. Sometimes feedback will come from unexpected places, a passing comment, a casual observation, a moment where someone points something out that you didn't see. Don't dismiss it just because it wasn't formal. Feedback is everywhere, you just have to pay attention. If someone consistently reacts negatively to how you communicate, that's feedback. If your work gets overlooked again and again, that's feedback. If people stop including you in conversations, that's feedback. Life is always giving you clues. You just have to be willing to interpret them and adjust accordingly. The most valuable feedback often comes in silence, in the lack of recognition, in the absence of results, in the patterns that repeat over and over. Pay attention. The world is telling you what you need to fix. Don't ignore it. Don't assume you're right just because you're trying hard. Effort doesn't guarantee results. Feedback bridges the gap between effort and outcome. You also need to give yourself feedback. After every major task, decision, or project, stop and evaluate. What went well? What didn't? What will you do differently next time? This habit alone can change your life. It keeps you from becoming complacent. It forces you to stay accountable. It helps you improve faster. Most people finish something and move on without thinking twice. But the few who pause, reflect, and ask themselves the hard questions are the ones who grow rapidly. They become more efficient, more effective, more aware. Don't wait until things go wrong to ask for feedback. Make it a regular part of your process. Build it into your routines. After a meeting, ask your teammates how you handled things. After a presentation, ask someone what you could have done better. After a personal interaction, reflect on how you came across. Make feedback a normal part of your life, not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. The truth is, you don't have time to repeat the same mistakes over and over. You don't have the luxury of trial and error forever. Feedback accelerates your progress. It saves you time. It shows you exactly where to focus your energy. And if you're smart, you'll use it to your advantage. You don't grow by avoiding criticism. You grow by learning from it, by using it to sharpen your skills, refine your approach, and elevate your standards. Every piece of feedback you apply makes you better, stronger, smarter, more capable. It's not always easy to hear, but that's the point. Growth isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to challenge you, to stretch you, to force you to become more than you were yesterday. So be the kind of person who doesn't flinch at feedback. Be the person who welcomes it, who listens closely, who asks for it often, who uses it as fuel to become the best version of themselves. That mindset alone will separate you from the majority. Most people fear feedback, but the few who run toward it are the ones who rise above. They're the ones who succeed, not by accident, but by design, because they choose to grow every single day. Chapter 24. Celebrate small wins to keep your momentum strong. Progress doesn't always come in big, loud moments. It often hides in the small, quiet steps. Those little decisions you make every day that move you forward, even when no one is watching. The problem is, most people overlook those steps. They wait for a big milestone before they allow themselves to feel proud. But that mindset slows you down. When you only reward yourself after something massive, you ignore the thousands of small efforts it took to get there. That's why celebrating small wins matters more than most people think. It's not just about boosting your mood. It's about reinforcing the behavior that's building your future. Every time you show up when you didn't feel like it, that's a win. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, that's a win. Every day you choose growth over comfort, that's a win. And those moments deserve recognition, not just because they feel good, but because they create momentum. When you acknowledge your small wins, you build confidence. You remind yourself that you're making progress, even if it's not visible yet. That belief fuels your consistency, and consistency is what creates breakthroughs. Most people quit not because they're weak, but because they're blind to their progress. They assume they're getting nowhere, even though they're actually moving forward. They don't give themselves credit. They don't pause to recognize how far they've come. They compare their daily effort to someone else's highlight reel and feel like they're behind. But the truth is, if you're showing up and doing the work, you're not behind, you're building. And the best way to keep building is to celebrate each brick you lay down. Small wins are the proof that you're on the right track. They're the signal that what you're doing is working. And when you acknowledge them, you train your brain to stay focused. You create a positive loop. Effort leads to recognition, which leads to more effort. That loop creates habits, and those habits become your foundation. You don't have to throw a party for every small success. Sometimes it's as simple as taking a second to breathe and say that was a good move, or journaling your progress at the end of the day, or letting yourself enjoy the feeling of growth instead of rushing to the next task. The point isn't to inflate your ego, it's to remind yourself that you're not stuck, you're moving, and movement creates motivation. When you celebrate the small stuff, you make the journey enjoyable, and that matters. Because if the journey always feels like a grind, you're more likely to burn out. But if you find joy in the small victories, the process becomes something you want to keep doing. It stops being a chore. It starts feeling like something that lifts you. Momentum doesn't come from motivation. It comes from repetition. And the fuel for repetition is reward. If you never stop to notice your progress, it starts to feel pointless. But when you pause to appreciate what you've done, even a little, it reminds you that the work is paying off. And that makes it easier to keep going tomorrow. This isn't about lowering your standards or settling for less. It's about reinforcing your effort. You can still aim high. You can still push yourself. But you don't have to wait until you've reached the top of the mountain to be proud. Every step upward counts. And if you learn to appreciate those steps, the climb won't feel so overwhelming. If you only validate yourself after you've achieved something massive, you train your mind to think that nothing else is valuable. But the truth is, success is built in layers, and every layer matters. Skipping over the small stuff doesn't make you more disciplined. It makes you less connected to the journey. You start chasing results instead of respecting the process. And when the results take time, which they often do, you lose patience. You start questioning yourself. You start thinking you're failing, even when you're not. That's how people give up right before things get good. They don't see the progress, so they assume it's not happening. But if they had stopped to look back at what they've already done, they'd realize they were further along than they thought. That's the power of reflection. That's the value of celebrating small wins. It gives you perspective. It reminds you that you've grown, that you've changed, that you're not who you were last week, or last month, or last year. Think about how much effort it takes to build a new habit, to shift your mindset, to change your routine. That kind of transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a series of small wins stacked on top of each other. Each time you choose the better option, that's a win. Each time you stay disciplined instead of distracted, that's a win. And those wins matter, not just because they add up, but because they shape your identity. When you acknowledge your small wins, you're not just reinforcing behavior, you're reinforcing who you are. You're telling yourself, I'm someone who follows through. I'm someone who improves. I'm someone who's becoming better. And that internal narrative is everything. It drives your decisions. It fuels your resilience. It shapes the way you see yourself when things get tough. You can't build a strong identity without proof. And small wins are that proof. They're the evidence that you're not just trying, you're succeeding, even if it's in small ways. That's what keeps your momentum alive. That's what keeps you committed when progress feels slow. And that's what builds the mindset you need to keep growing long term. Too many people downplay their effort because they think it's not impressive enough. But that's a dangerous mindset. It creates a gap between effort and self-worth. And over time, that gap turns into burnout. Because you're working hard, but you never feel good about it. You're improving, but you never acknowledge it. That disconnect makes the journey feel empty, and it makes you more likely to quit. But when you start celebrating your small wins, you close that gap. You bring effort and fulfillment together. You remind yourself that what you're doing matters. And that reminder builds internal motivation. The kind that doesn't rely on external rewards. The kind that lasts, even when things aren't going perfectly. You can still find small wins. Maybe today you didn't hit your full target, but you still showed up. Maybe you struggled with focus, but you didn't quit. Maybe you didn't feel like doing anything, but you still did something. Those moments count. They may not look impressive on the outside, but they're shaping you on the inside. They're strengthening your discipline. They're reinforcing your values. And that's worth recognizing. You don't need anyone else to validate your progress. You can do it yourself. You can decide what counts as a win. And when you start doing that consistently, something shifts. You start feeling more empowered. You start seeing your progress more clearly. You start becoming more invested in the process. And the more invested you are, the more momentum you build. Momentum is not about speed. It's about direction. It's about staying in motion, even when things feel slow. Celebrating small wins is how you keep that motion going. It's how you stay focused when the results aren't showing yet. It's how you stay encouraged when the path feels long. This mindset isn't just for personal goals. It applies to everything. If you're building a business, celebrate every customer, every improvement, every system you create. If you're working on your health, celebrate every good decision, every workout, every meal you make. If you're trying to grow emotionally, celebrate every moment of self-control, every hard conversation, every time you break an old pattern. You don't need fireworks. You just need awareness. You need to recognize the moments that matter, even if they're small, because when you do that, you create a life that's not just productive, but fulfilling. A life where effort feels meaningful, where discipline feels rewarding, where progress feels possible. Success isn't a single destination. It's a path made of thousands of small steps. And if you only stop to celebrate at the end, you'll miss the best part, the growth that happened along the way. So pay attention. Notice what you're doing right. Give yourself credit, not to feed your ego, but to fuel your journey. You're not just going through the motions. You're building something real. And every small win is proof of that.
Chapter 25. Speak your truth clearly and with quiet confidence. Speaking your truth is one of the most powerful things you can do, yet it's one of the hardest. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to say what people want to hear or what feels socially acceptable. But living like that, being afraid to speak your truth, builds up a tension in your life. It weighs you down. It chips away at your authenticity. If you want to move forward, grow, and become the best version of yourself, you have to learn to speak your truth clearly and with quiet confidence. There's a difference between speaking your truth from a place of defensiveness and speaking it from a place of inner strength. The latter is powerful. The former often comes from a place of insecurity, fear, and the need for validation. When you speak with confidence, people listen. But confidence doesn't mean shouting your truth to the world or demanding attention. Confidence comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and owning it without apology. To speak your truth clearly, you first need to know what your truth is. Many people struggle here because they've never taken the time to understand themselves deeply. They've never asked themselves the hard questions, like, what do I really believe? What do I value? What am I willing to stand up for, even when it's uncomfortable? If you don't know your truth, you can't speak it. And that's why self-awareness is the first step in this process. Once you understand your truth, the next challenge is learning to communicate it effectively. It's not about saying everything that comes to mind. It's about saying the right things at the right time, with clarity and intention. Speaking clearly requires self-discipline. It means filtering out the noise of unnecessary words, thoughts, or emotions, and focusing on the core message you want to deliver. This doesn't mean that you won't feel emotions when you speak your truth, but it does mean that you've learned how to control them enough to express yourself in a way that resonates with others. When you speak your truth, you don't need to shout, argue, or force your point of view. Quiet confidence is more powerful than loud insistence. People are drawn to those who speak with calm assurance, not those who try to dominate the conversation. The quieter the confidence, the stronger the message. You're not trying to convince anyone. You're simply sharing what you believe and who you are with clarity and integrity. And that's enough. Confidence is rooted in self-trust. If you trust yourself, you won't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You'll simply state your truth and allow others to respond as they will. Speaking your truth with quiet confidence requires that you're at peace with who you are and what you stand for. When you're comfortable with yourself, you're less likely to be defensive or afraid of judgment. You're simply being authentic,
and that authenticity is magnetic. One of the challenges of speaking your truth is dealing with the fear of rejection or criticism. You may worry that people won't accept what you have to say, or that your truth will make others uncomfortable. But if you're constantly holding back your truth out of fear, you'll never experience the power of true self-expression. You'll always be suppressing a part of yourself, and that suppression creates stress, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection from your true self. Speaking your truth, even if it's difficult, is the antidote to that anxiety. It's how you reclaim your personal power and live with integrity. The fear of judgment is natural, but it shouldn't control you. It's important to realize that people's opinions of you are just that, opinions. They don't define you. The only opinion that truly matters is your own. And if you're living authentically, if you're speaking your truth, you'll find that the people who are meant to be in your life will respect and appreciate that honesty. Those who can't handle your truth are the ones who aren't aligned with who you are, and that's okay. Not everyone will agree with you or understand you, but that doesn't mean your truth is any less valid. One of the best ways to build the courage to speak your truth is through practice. Start small. You don't have to start by having a big, life-changing conversation. You can begin with little moments throughout your day. Speak your truth in your relationships. Speak it in your work. Speak it in your personal growth. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. The more you speak your truth, the more you'll learn about yourself and the world around you, and the stronger your confidence will grow. Sometimes speaking your truth means setting boundaries. It means saying no when something doesn't align with your values or your goals. It means protecting your energy and your time. This is an important aspect of speaking with confidence. Being able to stand firm in your decisions, even when it's uncomfortable, or when others may not understand. People may try to pressure you into doing things that don't serve you, but you need to be clear on your boundaries and communicate them calmly and assertively. Saying no is a form of self-respect, and when you do it with quiet confidence, you'll feel empowered, not guilty. When you speak your truth, you're also giving others permission to do the same. Your honesty sets an example. It creates a safe space for others to express themselves authentically, without fear. And that's the kind of energy you want to create in your life. A space where people feel free to be themselves, and where you can be true to who you are, without apology. That's how you build deeper connections and relationships, based on respect, trust, and understanding. Being able to speak your truth, with quiet confidence, also helps you navigate difficult situations. Whether you're in a challenging conversation, dealing with conflict, or having to make a tough decision, the ability to stay calm and clear-headed while expressing yourself is invaluable. When you're grounded in your truth, you're not swayed by external pressures. You're not reacting out of fear or anger. Instead, you're responding from a place of strength. And that strength comes from being aligned with your values and beliefs. At the end of the day, speaking your truth isn't just about expressing your opinions or beliefs. It's about living in alignment with who you are. It's about showing up in the world as your authentic self, without fear or shame. When you live this way, you radiate confidence, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you're comfortable in your own skin. You're no longer hiding or pretending to be something you're not. You're simply being you, and that's the most powerful thing you can do. In a world where many people are afraid to speak their minds, your truth becomes a beacon. It shines a light on your values, your mission, and your unique perspective. And while not everyone will agree with you, you'll find that the people who resonate with your truth will be drawn to you. They will respect you for your authenticity and will trust you because you're not afraid to be real. Speaking your truth doesn't require grand gestures. It doesn't require speeches or declarations. It's the quiet, everyday moments where you express yourself clearly and confidently, without fear or hesitation. It's in those moments where your true strength lies. And when you learn to speak with quiet confidence, you'll find that your relationships deepen, your confidence grows, and your life becomes more aligned with the person you were always meant to be. It all starts with you.
It starts with your willingness to honor your truth, even when it's hard. It starts with your decision to stop hiding and start living openly and authentically. When you do that, you'll find that your life opens up in ways you never imagined, and it will all begin with the simple but powerful act of speaking your truth clearly and with quiet confidence.
Chapter 26. Challenge your limits by pushing a little harder. The only way to grow is to challenge your limits. If you want to break through barriers, push past fears, and achieve something truly remarkable, you have to be willing to go beyond what feels comfortable. It's easy to settle into the routine, to do just enough to get by. But that's not where growth happens. Growth happens when you push a little harder, when you test your own boundaries, when you take that extra step that feels uncomfortable. It's in those moments of discomfort that real transformation occurs. We all have limits, some that are self-imposed, and some that are a result of the world around us. But the truth is, most of the limits we encounter are not as rigid as we think. We've all been there, thinking we've reached the edge, convinced that we can't go any further. But time and time again, we learn that when we dig a little deeper, we discover a new level of strength we didn't know existed. The key is to challenge those limits, to test them, push against them, and discover that they are far more flexible than we initially believed. The first step in challenging your limits is to acknowledge where they are. What is it that's holding you back? Where do you feel resistance in your life? These are the places where your limits exist, but they're not necessarily permanent. Once you identify them, you can begin the process of confronting and dismantling them. This requires both awareness and action. You need to be conscious of the areas in your life where you've been playing it safe or avoiding discomfort, and you need to be ready to step into those areas and push harder than before. For many people, the biggest challenge is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or simply fear of the unknown. But fear is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are on the verge of growth. Every time you feel fear, it's an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming it. Fear may never completely disappear, but you can learn to work through it, to push beyond it, and to use it as fuel for your personal development. You don't need to make giant leaps right away. Challenging your limits doesn't always mean doing something extreme or outlandish. Chapter 27. Choose actions that align with your core values to live a truly fulfilled and successful life. It's crucial to make choices that are deeply aligned with your core values. Your values are the guiding principles that shape your behavior, influence your decisions, and define the person you ultimately become. Without understanding and living according to your values, it's easy to drift through life, making decisions based on external pressures, temporary desires, or fear. But when you commit to choosing actions that align with your core values, you set yourself on a path of authenticity, purpose, and fulfillment. The first step in aligning your actions with your values is to clearly identify what those values are. Too many people go through life without ever pausing to consider what they truly stand for. They react to situations based on habit or because that's what society expects, rather than making deliberate choices based on a deep understanding of their own principles. Take the time to reflect on what matters most to you. What principles guide you in your life? Do you value honesty, loyalty, personal growth, or compassion? The clearer you are about your values, the easier it becomes to make decisions that reflect them. Once you've identified your values, the real work begins, ensuring that your actions are a true reflection of those values. It's one thing to say that you value something, but it's another thing entirely to demonstrate that value through your daily choices and behaviors. This is where many people fall short. It's easy to pay lip service to values like honesty or integrity, but much harder to consistently make choices that align with those values, especially when faced with difficult situations. That's where true personal growth happens. When you're faced with a choice that challenges your values, and you choose to act in alignment with your beliefs, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. For example, if you value integrity, then your actions should consistently reflect that, even when no one is watching. If you say you value family, then your decisions should prioritize spending time with loved ones over other distractions. Aligning your actions with your values isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about striving to make the right choices, even when it's difficult, and knowing that every small decision adds up to create the life you want. One of the challenges of living in alignment with your values is the constant tension between what you want in the moment and what your values dictate is best for you in the long term. Often our short-term desires conflict with our long-term values. You might feel the urge to take the easy way out or to choose the option that provides immediate gratification. But if it doesn't align with your core values, it will only leave you feeling empty in the long run. That's why it's essential to regularly check in with yourself, to ask if the choices you're making are truly aligned with the person you want to become. This requires a level of self-awareness that many people overlook. It's easy to let distractions and external pressures dictate your actions. But when you're aware of your values, you can pause before making decisions and evaluate whether your actions reflect them. This moment of pause is where your power lies. It's the difference between mindlessly going along with what feels good in the moment and making a choice that aligns with the person you want to be. The more often you choose actions that align with your values, the stronger your sense of self and purpose will become. But why is it so important to make these choices? Why does living according to your values matter so much? Because your values shape your identity, and your identity shapes your actions. The person you are today is a direct reflection of the choices you've made in the past. Every action you take reinforces who you are becoming. If you repeatedly make choices that are in line with your values, you will become someone who lives with integrity, someone who values family, or someone who prioritizes personal growth. Chapter 28. Take a cold shower to strengthen your mindset. Taking a cold shower might seem like an unpleasant, even torturous experience, but it's one of the most powerful ways to strengthen your mindset and build resilience. It's not just about enduring discomfort for the sake of it. It's about training yourself to face challenges head-on, to build mental toughness, and to develop a mindset that isn't easily shaken by adversity. We all know that life isn't always comfortable, and it's easy to avoid discomfort whenever possible. But true growth comes from pushing past those moments when you'd rather take the easy way out. Cold showers provide the perfect opportunity to practice this discipline. The first time you step into a cold shower, the shock to your system will be immediate. Your body will recoil, your breath will catch, and you'll feel the urge to jump right out. This is the moment where you have a choice. You can either give in to the discomfort, retreat back to your comfort zone, or you can stay in the shower and embrace the cold. This small act of choosing to stay, choosing to endure, is a direct challenge to your comfort zone. It's a decision that shows you that discomfort doesn't have to be avoided. It can be embraced and used to build something stronger. Your mindset. The mental benefits of cold showers go beyond simply enduring discomfort. They teach you how to control your reactions in the face of adversity. When you step into a cold shower, your initial instinct is to react, to flinch, to jump out, to panic. But when you choose to stay in the cold water, you're teaching yourself to control those instinctive reactions. You're teaching yourself to pause before reacting, to breathe deeply, and to stay calm, even in uncomfortable situations. These are the same skills you can apply in life when faced with challenges. Chapter 29. Set daily intentions and follow through completely. Setting daily intentions is one of the most powerful ways to focus your mind and ensure that your actions align with your greater goals. It's so easy to get swept up in the whirlwind of life. Distractions, obligations, and unexpected challenges can all derail our focus. But when you set clear, intentional goals each day, you create a roadmap that guides your actions and decisions. Intentions provide direction, and they help keep your mind sharp and focused on what truly matters. This is the key to consistent personal growth and long-term success. You must set your sights on what you want, break it down into smaller, actionable steps, and then follow through with commitment and determination. The key to setting daily intentions is to make them clear and specific. Vague goals like, I want to be more productive, or I want to improve my health, are too broad and lack the focus necessary to drive real action. Instead, ask yourself, what exactly do I want to accomplish today? A specific intention might be, today I will complete my most important work project by 3 p.m., or I will take a 30-minute walk after lunch to improve my health. By setting clear intentions, you are creating a sense of urgency and focus. You're telling your mind exactly what you need to prioritize and accomplish, and this clarity drives action. Once you've set your daily intention, the next step is to follow through completely. It's easy to write down intentions, but the real challenge lies in execution. The difference between success and failure often boils down to the ability to follow through on what you've set out to do. A well-intended goal without action is simply a dream. If you don't follow through, you're missing the opportunity to create progress in your life. Chapter 30. Keep promises you make to yourself every time. Keeping promises you make to yourself is one of the most significant acts of self-respect and discipline. It's an essential foundation for personal growth, and yet it's often overlooked. We easily understand the importance of keeping promises to others, but the promises we make to ourselves hold the same, if not greater, weight. When we fail to honor our own commitments, it erodes our sense of self-worth and weakens our inner resolve. Keeping promises to yourself isn't about being perfect. It's about consistently honoring your word, building trust with yourself, and reinforcing the belief that you are capable of achieving what you set out to do. Every time you make a promise to yourself, you're setting an intention. These promises, whether big or small, are the foundation upon which your habits are built. You may promise yourself to wake up earlier, eat healthier, or complete a project by a certain date. The process of keeping these promises creates momentum in your life. Chapter 31. Start journaling to clear your thoughts and grow. Journaling is one of the simplest yet most profound practices you can incorporate into your life. It may seem like a small personal habit, but its benefits stretch far beyond just putting pen to paper. When you journal, you create a space to process thoughts, reflect on experiences, and connect with your inner world. It's an incredibly effective tool for clearing your mind and gaining clarity. The act of writing forces you to slow down, allowing you to step outside of the clutter in your mind and see things from a different perspective. In a world that moves at an unrelenting pace, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the constant stream of thoughts and emotions that demand our attention. We often juggle so many tasks, responsibilities, and concerns that we never stop long enough to process them. Journaling provides the much-needed pause. It's a moment you carve out for yourself to simply exist without distractions. It allows you to organize your thoughts, put them into words, and make sense of what's swirling around in your head. In doing so, you create space for growth, both personally and professionally. When you sit down to journal, it's more than just documenting events of your day. It's about understanding how those events have impacted you, how you've responded to them, and what you've learned along the way. You're not just writing, you're reflecting, analyzing, and exploring your emotions. This introspective process can be incredibly liberating. The simple act of expressing yourself on paper can be incredibly cathartic, especially when you've been holding on to unresolved feelings or thoughts. Writing allows you to release pent-up emotions that might be weighing you down, and in doing so, you create a sense of freedom. You can let go of what no longer serves you, clear the clutter from your mind, and make room for new insights and ideas. Journaling is also a powerful tool for self-awareness. When you commit to writing regularly, you begin to observe patterns in your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. You might notice recurring themes, fears, or limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. The more you write, the more you start to understand yourself. This self-awareness is key to personal growth. Once you become aware of the areas in your life that need attention, you can take actionable steps to improve them. You can identify the negative thought patterns that limit your potential and replace them with positive affirmations that empower you. Journaling helps you uncover your strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears, all of which are important pieces of the puzzle that is your life. Another profound benefit of journaling is its ability to foster creativity. When your mind is cluttered with worries and distractions, it's difficult to access your creative potential. Journaling helps clear that mental fog and open up pathways for new ideas to emerge. The act of writing itself can spark inspiration, allowing you to tap into your subconscious and bring forth insights that you might not have otherwise accessed. This is why many successful individuals, whether they are writers, entrepreneurs, or artists, swear by the power of journaling. It provides a space to brainstorm, problem solve, and explore new possibilities. When you write without judgment or expectation, you allow yourself to think freely, which often leads to the most innovative and creative solutions. Beyond creativity, journaling also helps with decision-making. Life often presents us with numerous choices, and it can be challenging to know which path to take. Writing down your thoughts gives you the opportunity to weigh your options, analyze potential outcomes, and get clearer on what you truly want. Journaling forces you to slow down and really think through your decisions, rather than acting impulsively. This is especially helpful when you're feeling conflicted or uncertain. By putting your thoughts on paper, you externalize your internal dialogue, which allows you to see things more objectively. It's like having a conversation with yourself, but one that's guided by logic and reflection rather than emotions or impulse. When it comes to personal growth, journaling also encourages accountability. By writing down your goals, intentions, and actions, you create a record that you can refer back to. It becomes a tool for tracking your progress and holding yourself accountable. You can document your achievements, but you can also reflect on the setbacks and challenges you faced along the way. This kind of self-reflection is vital for growth because it allows you to learn from your mistakes and adjust your approach moving forward. It's easy to get lost in the day-to-day hustle and forget how far you've come. But when you look back at your journal, you'll be reminded of the progress you've made and the obstacles you've overcome. This not only boosts your motivation, but also helps you stay focused on your long-term goals. One of the most profound aspects of journaling is the way it can help you gain clarity in moments of uncertainty. Life often presents us with challenges that leave us feeling unsure or overwhelmed. During these moments, it can be difficult to see things clearly. Journaling helps by forcing you to articulate what's going on in your mind. Sometimes, simply writing down your thoughts can help you see things in a new light. You might realize that your fears are unfounded, or that you're overthinking a situation. Writing allows you to express and examine your worries, which helps you gain a sense of control and calm. In addition to the mental and emotional benefits, journaling can also improve your physical well-being. The act of writing helps reduce stress, which has a direct impact on your overall health. Stress is a leading cause of many health problems, including anxiety, depression, and even chronic illness. By taking time each day to journal, you can release built-up stress and prevent it from negatively affecting your physical health. Journaling also promotes mindfulness, as it encourages you to stay present in the moment and focus on your thoughts and feelings. This mindfulness practice can improve your overall sense of well-being and enhance your ability to cope with life's challenges. Journaling doesn't require any special skills or equipment. All you need is a pen and a notebook, or even a digital device if you prefer to write electronically. The beauty of journaling lies in its simplicity. There are no rules, no limitations, and no expectation. You can write whatever you want, whenever you want. The freedom that journaling provides is one of the reasons it's such a powerful tool. Whether you want to write about your goals, your dreams, your struggles, or simply your observations, the choice is yours. It's your personal space to express yourself without judgment or restriction. If you're new to journaling, it can be helpful to start with a few prompts to get the ball rolling. You can begin by writing about how you're feeling in the moment, or what's been on your mind. You might reflect on a recent experience, or write about a challenge you're currently facing. As you become more comfortable with the practice, you'll find that the words begin to flow more easily, and you'll be able to write without needing a prompt. Over time, journaling will become an effortless and essential part of your daily routine. The most important thing is to make journaling a habit. Like any other habit, it takes consistency to reap the full benefits. Start small, and gradually build it into your daily routine. Even 5 minutes a day can make a significant difference in how you feel and think. The key is to make it a priority, no matter how busy you may be. The clarity, creativity, and self-awareness that come from journaling are worth the investment. Over time, you'll notice profound changes in how you approach life, how you handle challenges, and how you relate to yourself. Journaling is a tool for growth. It's a space where you can confront your fears, challenge your assumptions, and explore your deepest desires. It's a place for self-expression, reflection, and healing. And as you commit to journaling regularly, you'll begin to see yourself in a new light. You'll gain insight into your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. You'll become more mindful, more intentional, and more focused on your goals. Most importantly, journaling will help you grow, not just as a person, but as someone who is constantly striving to be better, clearer, and more in tune with themselves. Chapter 32. Show gratitude for one thing every single day. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions we can experience, yet it is often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. In a world that constantly demands more of us, more time, more effort, more success, it's easy to get caught up in the cycle of striving for what's next. We become focused on the things we don't yet have, the goals we haven't yet achieved, and the obstacles we still face. But in doing so, we often forget to pause and recognize the blessings we already possess. Showing gratitude every single day is an act of mindfulness, a practice that brings us back to the present moment and reminds us of the good that already exists in our lives. It's about acknowledging the things we sometimes take for granted and recognizing that even the smallest of blessings deserve appreciation. This practice doesn't require a grand gesture or elaborate ritual. It can be as simple as taking a moment to reflect on one thing that you're grateful for today. It could be the warmth of the sun on your skin, the support of a friend, or the fact that you woke up with a healthy body. The point is that gratitude doesn't have to be tied to something big or dramatic. It's about cultivating a mindset that notices and appreciates the beauty in the everyday moments. Incorporating gratitude into your daily life is a small shift that has profound effects on your mindset and overall well-being. When you make the effort to recognize one thing you're thankful for every single day, you begin to train your brain to look for the positive. Instead of focusing on what's going wrong or what's missing, you begin to notice the countless things that are going right. This shift in perspective can have a profound impact on your emotional state. When we focus on gratitude, we elevate our mood, increase our feelings of happiness, and even reduce the impact of stress. This is because gratitude has been shown to activate the brain's reward center, releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. It creates a positive feedback loop, where the more we practice gratitude, the more we feel grateful, and the more we feel grateful, the happier we become. But the power of gratitude goes beyond just improving our mood in the moment. It has long-term benefits for our physical and mental health as well. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience better sleep, improved immune function, and lower levels of anxiety and depression. They also tend to have stronger relationships, as expressing gratitude fosters connection and builds trust. By showing appreciation for others, we create an atmosphere of positivity that encourages kindness and cooperation. Gratitude is a gift that not only enriches our own lives, but also enhances the lives of those around us. One of the most important aspects of gratitude is that it helps us to cultivate a mindset of abundance. When we focus on what we already have, we stop feeling like we're lacking something or missing out. We start to realize that we have enough, that we are enough, and that we don't need to constantly chase after more to be fulfilled. Gratitude allows us to recognize the richness of our lives, no matter how simple or modest they may seem. It brings us back to the truth that we are already blessed in many ways. In a world that often emphasizes the pursuit of success, material wealth, and external achievements, gratitude encourages us to redefine what it means to live a successful life. Success isn't just about what you have or what you've accomplished. It's about how you experience the world around you and how you choose to view the present moment. Gratitude helps us understand that success is not measured by the quantity of what we have, but by the quality of how we experience it. This practice of showing gratitude is also transformative when it comes to overcoming challenges. Life will inevitably throw obstacles our way. There will be times when things don't go as planned, when we face setbacks, or when we experience pain and disappointment. During these difficult moments, gratitude can seem like a foreign concept. How can we be grateful when things are hard? But this is precisely when gratitude is most powerful. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring or minimizing our struggles. It means finding something to appreciate even in the midst of hardship. It's about recognizing the lessons we can learn from our challenges, the strength we develop from adversity, and the growth that comes from persevering through difficult times. When we can cultivate gratitude during the hard moments, we begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities. Gratitude helps us reframe the way we perceive adversity. Instead of seeing it as something to fear or avoid, we can see it as a stepping stone to becoming a stronger, wiser version of ourselves. This shift in mindset allows us to approach life with resilience and determination, knowing that no matter what comes our way, we can find something to be grateful for. Showing gratitude every day also creates a profound sense of purpose. When we take the time to acknowledge the good in our lives, we begin to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. Gratitude reminds us that we are not isolated beings, but part of a larger, more beautiful picture. The people in our lives,
the experiences we have, and the resources available to us all play a role in shaping who we are and where we are going. By appreciating these contributions, we deepen our sense of purpose and connection to the world around us. It's important to note that gratitude doesn't have to be a grand expression every day. You don't need to write a lengthy journal entry or make a big show of your appreciation. It can be as simple as saying thank you to someone, acknowledging a moment of beauty in nature, or taking a few seconds to reflect on something small that brings you joy. The key is consistency. By committing to show gratitude every single day, no matter how small the gesture, you create a positive, lasting habit that shapes your mindset over time. The beauty of this practice is that it doesn't require any special tools or expertise. It's something you can do anytime, anywhere, whether it's in the morning before bed, or during a quiet moment throughout your day. Gratitude is always accessible. It's a simple act, but one that has the potential to change the entire trajectory of your life. When you choose to show gratitude, you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right. You open yourself up to the beauty that exists in every moment, and you begin to experience life through a lens of appreciation. Gratitude also nurtures patience. In a world that constantly pushes us to do more, be more, and have more, it's easy to lose sight of the value of simply being present. Gratitude teaches us to slow down and appreciate what we already have, rather than always striving for the next thing. It helps us realize that there is value in the present moment, even if it's not perfect or exactly as we imagined it. When we can be content with what is, rather than constantly seeking what could be, we find peace in the here and now. In the pursuit of personal growth and achievement, it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling that we are never enough, that we need to do more, be more, or accomplish more to be worthy of success. Gratitude counters this belief. By acknowledging what we already have, we reinforce the idea that we are enough exactly as we are. We don't need to prove our worthiness through constant striving or external validation. Gratitude allows us to recognize our inherent value and appreciate the journey, not just the destination. Incorporating gratitude into your daily routine is simple but powerful. It may not always be easy, especially on the days when life feels challenging or overwhelming, but it is always worth it. Start small, pick one thing, just one thing to be grateful for every day. It could be as simple as a hot cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or a beautiful sunset. Over time, you will notice that your gratitude grows, and you will begin to see the world through a different lens. The more you practice, the more natural it will become to find reasons to be thankful, even on the most difficult of days. Gratitude is a practice that has the power to transform your life. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already possess. It fosters a sense of peace, contentment, and joy. And when you commit to showing gratitude every single day, you begin to create a foundation of positivity that propels you forward into your best life. Whether your days are filled with joy or challenges, gratitude always has the power to remind you that there is something worth celebrating, something worth appreciating, something worth being thankful for.
Chapter 33. Limit social media and reclaim your attention span. In today's digital age, social media has become an integral part of our daily lives. We check our phones the moment we wake up, scroll through endless feeds of photos, posts, and updates, and engage in virtual conversations with people from all corners of the world. Social media provides an outlet for connection, entertainment, and information, but it also comes with a hidden cost: our attention. The very thing that makes us most productive and present in our lives is increasingly being fragmented by the constant influx of notifications, distractions, and the need for instant gratification. Our attention span is one of the most valuable resources we possess. It determines our ability to focus on tasks, learn new things, and engage meaningfully with the world around us. Yet in the face of social media's addictive nature, we find our attention scattered across multiple platforms and notifications. The dopamine rush from a new like or comment reinforces our desire to keep checking our phones, creating a cycle that diminishes our ability to stay present, think deeply, and engage with life in a focused, meaningful way. To reclaim your attention span, it is essential to take control of your relationship with social media. This means consciously limiting the amount of time you spend on these platforms, curating the content you consume, and setting intentional boundaries that allow you to focus on what truly matters. Social media, when used intentionally, can be a tool for connection and inspiration, but when used mindlessly, It can drain your mental energy and reduce your capacity for deep thought and reflection. The first step in limiting social media is acknowledging its impact on your attention. How often do you find yourself reaching for your phone without even thinking? How many times a day do you get distracted by a notification that pulls you away from your current task? These interruptions, while seemingly small, add up over time and fragment your ability to focus. Research has shown that it can take up to 23 minutes to refocus after being distracted by something like a notification. In other words, the more frequently we check our phones, the less likely we are to stay in a state of deep concentration for extended periods of time. By limiting social media use, you're not only giving yourself the chance to reclaim your attention, but you're also creating space for more meaningful, fulfilling experiences. The constant scrolling and checking for updates can easily become a habit, a way of filling in the gaps of idle moments or distracting yourself from more uncomfortable feelings like boredom, loneliness, or dissatisfaction. However, when you choose to limit your social media use, you remove that automatic escape and give yourself the opportunity to explore more productive or enriching activities. One of the most powerful ways to reclaim your attention span is by setting clear boundaries around your social media use. This might involve designating certain times of day when you allow yourself to check social media, perhaps in the morning for a quick update, or in the evening as a way to unwind. The key is to be intentional about when and why you engage with social media. Instead of mindlessly scrolling throughout the day, create specific time blocks that serve a purpose, whether that's catching up with friends, sharing something meaningful, or finding inspiration. To avoid getting sucked into endless scrolling, consider turning off notifications altogether. It's amazing how freeing it can be to not have constant alerts demanding your attention. By silencing notifications, you give yourself the power to choose when you engage with social media, rather than letting your phone dictate when you should respond. This can help you stay in control of your time and mental energy, rather than feeling like you're at the mercy of every ping or vibration. Another key strategy for limiting social media use is curating your feed to reflect the things that truly align with your values and goals. How much of the content you consume is genuinely enriching or inspiring? How much of it is just noise, unnecessary updates, irrelevant opinions, or mindless entertainment? Take some time to unfollow or mute accounts that don't add value to your life. Instead, focus on following people and pages that inspire you, challenge your thinking, or align with your passions. When you curate your social media feed intentionally, you create a more positive and productive space for yourself to engage with. You'll find that you're more likely to be inspired by what you see, rather than feeling overwhelmed or distracted. Another powerful strategy for reclaiming your attention span is to embrace the power of deep work. Deep work refers to the practice of engaging in focused, uninterrupted periods of work, where you give your full attention to a task without distractions. This concept, popularized by author Cal Newport, emphasizes the importance of creating blocks of time where you can work without the constant pull of social media or other distractions. When you schedule time for deep work, you are giving yourself the space to truly immerse yourself in a project, whether that's writing, problem solving, or creative work. The results of deep work are far more meaningful and impactful than the scattered, fragmented efforts that come from constant multitasking. To cultivate deep work, it's important to eliminate distractions before you begin. Put your phone in another room or turn it off entirely. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer, or use apps that block social media for a set period of time. Let those around you know that you need focused time to get work done, and create an environment that supports deep concentration. This might mean setting up a designated workspace, turning off the TV, or using noise-canceling headphones. The more you create an environment conducive to focus, the easier it will be to stay engaged in your work and avoid the lure of social media. A crucial aspect of reclaiming your attention span is recognizing that your time and energy are limited. Every minute you spend scrolling through social media is a minute you could be dedicating to something more meaningful or productive. While it's true that social media can provide valuable connections, learning opportunities, and entertainment, it's equally important to recognize when it's taking up too much of your time. Instead of getting caught in the trap of mindless scrolling, consider redirecting your attention to activities that help you grow, whether that's reading, exercising, journaling, or learning a new skill. These activities not only improve your overall well-being,
but they also train your brain to focus for longer periods of time and to stay engaged in tasks that require sustained attention. It's also important to be mindful of the way social media affects your mental and emotional state. Spending excessive time on these platforms can lead to feelings of inadequacy, comparison, and anxiety. Social media often presents a filtered, curated version of reality, where people only showcase the best moments of their lives. This can create a distorted perception of reality, leading to unrealistic expectations and feelings of dissatisfaction. By limiting your exposure to these platforms, you can reduce the negative emotional impact they may have on you. One way to mitigate the impact of social media on your mental health is by setting intentional goals for your time online. Instead of browsing aimlessly or getting sucked into the latest trends, ask yourself what you hope to gain from your social media engagement. Are you looking for connection, inspiration, information? By setting clear intentions for how you use social media, you can ensure that it serves a purpose and doesn't become a mindless distraction that drains your energy. The more you limit social media use, the more you'll begin to notice how much mental and emotional space it frees up. You'll have more time for self-reflection, creative expression, and pursuing your goals. Your attention will no longer be fragmented by the constant barrage of notifications and updates. Instead, you'll find that you're able to focus more deeply, think more clearly, and engage more meaningfully with the world around you. Ultimately, reclaiming your attention span requires intentionality and discipline. It's not about completely eliminating social media from your life, but about using it in a way that aligns with your values and enhances your well-being. By setting boundaries, curating your feed, and prioritizing deep work, you can regain control over your attention and create a more focused, fulfilling life. In a world filled with distractions, this simple shift can help you cultivate greater clarity, productivity, and presence, allowing you to make the most of your time and energy.
Chapter 34. Meditate daily to train your mind to focus. Meditation is not just a practice for relaxation. It is one of the most powerful tools for training the mind to focus. In a world filled with constant distractions and demands on our attention, meditation provides a much-needed pause, a way to recalibrate and regain control of our mental state. The mind is like a muscle. It needs exercise to stay strong, sharp, and focused. Yet, most people fail to realize that our minds, just like our bodies, need consistent training in order to perform at their best. Many of us go through our days with a scattered mind, hopping from one task to the next, without ever taking a moment to settle into the present. Our thoughts are constantly jumping from one idea to another, influenced by external stimuli and internal distractions. In this chaotic state, it becomes difficult to truly focus on what matters most, whether that's a project at work, a personal goal, or simply being present with the people we care about. The constant mental noise can leave us feeling drained, stressed, and overwhelmed, unable to give our full attention to anything. This is where meditation steps in. Through regular meditation, you can train your mind to quiet the noise, to let go of distractions, and to hone in on what truly matters. Meditation is like going to the gym for your brain. It strengthens your ability to concentrate, enhances your awareness, and helps you stay grounded in the present moment. By taking a few moments each day to meditate, you can improve your overall mental clarity and sharpen your focus, helping you perform at your highest potential. One of the first benefits of meditation is that it helps to calm the mind. In our busy world, it's easy to feel like there's always something to do, always something demanding our attention. Our thoughts become a never-ending stream, filled with worries about the future, regrets about the past, and distractions that pull us away from what's in front of us. Meditation allows us to step away from this mental chaos and enter a space of calmness. By focusing on our breath, a mantra, or a single point of concentration, we can silence the noise in our minds and create a sense of inner peace. This peace doesn't just feel good in the moment. It carries over into other areas of our lives, allowing us to approach challenges with a clear and composed mind. The act of focusing on a single object during meditation trains the mind to resist the urge to jump from one thought to the next. It is in this training that we begin to sharpen our ability to focus. Each time our mind drifts away from our object of focus, we gently bring it back. Over time, this process becomes easier, and we start to notice that our attention span in everyday life becomes longer and more sustained. When we're no longer at the mercy of every distraction, we're able to stay focused on tasks for longer periods, whether that's working on a project, engaging in a conversation, or pursuing a personal goal. Meditation also helps improve emotional regulation. In a world that's constantly pulling us in different directions, it's easy to get swept up in our emotions. Whether it's frustration, anxiety, or stress, our emotions often cloud our judgment and interfere with our ability to focus. When we meditate, we learn to observe our emotions without becoming attached to them. Instead of reacting impulsively, we learn to sit with our feelings and allow them to pass. This emotional detachment is not about suppressing emotions, but about gaining control over them. When we're able to regulate our emotions, we're less likely to be distracted or overwhelmed by them. Instead, we can stay focused on the task at hand, no matter what external challenges arise. One of the key aspects of meditation is mindfulness, the ability to stay present in the moment. We spend much of our time either worrying about the future or regretting the past, but neither of these things can be changed. The present moment is where life is happening, and it's only by being present that we can make the most of our time, energy, and efforts. Meditation teaches us to pay attention to what's happening right now, without judgment or distraction. By bringing our attention to the present moment, we become more aware of our surroundings, our thoughts, and our actions. This heightened awareness improves our ability to focus, as we're no longer distracted by irrelevant thoughts or outside noise. Another significant benefit of meditation is stress reduction. Stress is a major obstacle to focus, as it clouds our thinking and drains our energy. When we're stressed, our bodies enter a fight or flight state, and our minds become preoccupied with survival rather than productivity. Meditation has been shown to lower levels of cortisol, the hormone associated with stress, helping the body and mind return to a more relaxed and focused state. By practicing meditation regularly, we can keep stress levels in check and maintain a calm and clear mind throughout the day. The beauty of meditation is that it's accessible to everyone, regardless of age or experience level. You don't need to be an expert to begin meditating. Just a few minutes each day can make a significant difference. The process of meditation is simple. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. If your mind starts to wander, simply notice it and return your focus to your breath. This act of returning to the present moment strengthens the mind's ability to stay focused, and over time the results become evident in your everyday life. As you build your meditation practice, you may find that your mind becomes more and more adept at focusing. The process can be gradual, and there may be days when it feels challenging to stay still or keep your mind from wandering. But even on those days, the act of sitting down to meditate is still a valuable exercise. Just as physical fitness requires consistency and persistence, mental fitness is built over time through regular practice. The more you meditate, the more you'll notice improvements in your ability to concentrate, your emotional resilience, and your overall sense of well-being. Meditation also encourages self-reflection, helping us gain deeper insight into our thoughts, behaviors, and patterns. As we sit quietly and observe our thoughts without judgment, we begin to understand the ways in which we think and react. This self-awareness is key to personal growth, as it allows us to identify areas where we might need to make changes or improvements. It's in this space of reflection that we can uncover limiting beliefs, destructive habits, and unconscious biases, and begin to work toward positive transformation. Beyond these individual benefits, meditation also enhances our relationships with others. When we're able to focus and regulate our emotions, we become better communicators, listeners, and problem solvers. Meditation teaches us patience, empathy, and compassion, qualities that are essential in fostering healthy and meaningful connections with others. By cultivating a calm and focused mind, we become more present for those around us, which strengthens our relationships and enhances our ability to collaborate and work together. Incorporating meditation into your daily routine doesn't require a drastic overhaul of your life. It's a simple practice that can be done in just a few minutes each day, but the benefits are profound. Whether you're seeking greater focus, emotional balance, or personal growth, meditation offers a powerful way to train your mind and sharpen your attention. Over time, you'll find that the more you meditate,
the more you are able to stay focused on what truly matters. As your mind becomes stronger and more disciplined, you'll experience a newfound sense of clarity, calm, and purpose, which will carry over into every area of your life.
Chapter 35. Help someone without expecting anything in return. Helping others without expecting anything in return is one of the purest and most rewarding acts we can engage in. It can transform not only the person we're helping, but also ourselves in profound ways. In a world where transactions often define relationships, where people are conditioned to expect something in return for their actions, offering help without any form of expectation might seem like a radical idea. But in reality, it's one of the most powerful tools for personal growth, connection, and emotional fulfillment. The essence of helping others selflessly lies in the ability to offer support, encouragement, or assistance, without the need for recognition or compensation. It is done purely for the well-being of the other person. In today's world, it's so easy to become absorbed in our own needs, desires, and pursuits. We can get caught up in the cycle of self-interest, constantly measuring our actions by what we will gain in return. This mindset can create a sense of isolation, because when we only focus on our own goals, we disconnect from others. We start to see relationships as transactions. What can they give me, and what can I get from them? This transactional mindset, while necessary in some contexts, can limit our capacity for genuine connection and personal growth. When we help someone without expecting anything in return, we break free from this transactional model. We shift our focus from self-interest to the well-being of another person. There is a profound sense of fulfillment that arises from knowing that your actions have positively impacted someone's life, even if you receive nothing in return. The beauty of this selfless form of help is that it is rooted in kindness, compassion, and empathy, qualities that enrich not just the recipient, but also the giver. Helping others can take many forms. It could be as simple as offering a listening ear to someone who's going through a tough time, or it could be as involved as giving your time to support a cause that's important to you. It could be offering a helping hand to a colleague who's struggling with a task, or it could mean volunteering at a local shelter to assist those in need. Regardless of the form it takes, the key element in all of these acts is that they are performed without any expectation of reward or acknowledgement. The act of giving without strings attached brings a sense of inner peace and satisfaction. One of the most profound effects of helping others without expecting anything in return is the way it shapes our mindset. It shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance. When we give without expecting something in return, we embrace the belief that there is enough in the world for everyone. We stop worrying about what we might lose or what we might not get. We realize that the act of giving is, in itself, its own reward. This mindset creates a deeper sense of contentment because it moves us away from constantly measuring our value by what we receive, and instead ties our value to what we contribute to the world. There is also a deep sense of freedom that comes with selfless giving. When we help others with no expectations, we free ourselves from the weight of obligation. We're no longer bound by the idea that we must receive something in return for our efforts. This freedom allows us to give from a place of authenticity, where our actions are guided by our true desire to make a positive impact, rather than by any ulterior motives or desires for recognition. The benefits of helping others extend beyond the individual who receives the help. When we help someone, we build trust and strengthen our relationships. Genuine, selfless acts of kindness create bonds between people that are grounded in respect and appreciation, not in what we can gain from one another. It deepens our sense of community and belonging, and it helps to create a positive cycle of goodwill. One act of kindness can often inspire others to help in return, creating a ripple effect that can reach far beyond what we initially anticipated. Furthermore, helping others without expecting anything in return can help develop emotional resilience. The act of giving to someone else, especially when we're going through our own struggles, teaches us to focus on something greater than ourselves. It provides perspective and reminds us that we are capable of making a difference in someone else's life, regardless of our own circumstances. This can be a powerful reminder that even in our hardest times, we have the ability to impact the world in meaningful ways. The act of selflessly helping others also nurtures our sense of purpose. When we dedicate ourselves to something bigger than our own immediate needs and desires, we tap into a deeper sense of meaning. We realize that we are not just living for ourselves,
We are part of a larger web of interconnected lives. Helping others provides us with a sense of purpose and fulfillment that can never be achieved through material possessions or personal gain. The satisfaction that comes from knowing we've made someone else's life a little easier, a little brighter, is a gift that no amount of money or fame can provide. On a deeper level, selfless giving also helps us develop greater empathy and compassion. When we help someone without expecting anything in return, we step into their shoes, even if only for a moment. We begin to understand their struggles, their emotions, and their needs. This perspective helps us cultivate a sense of compassion that extends beyond just this single act. It encourages us to look at the world through a lens of kindness and understanding, rather than judgment or indifference. The idea of helping without expectation isn't always easy. In a world that often values self-interest, it can feel counterintuitive to give without any thought of what we will get in return. We may worry that we'll be taken advantage of, or that our efforts will go unnoticed. However, the beauty of selfless giving is that it's not about the recognition or acknowledgement we receive. It's about the positive impact we make in the lives of others. When we act selflessly, we demonstrate to the world that kindness and generosity are worth more than any material reward. When we are willing to help others without expecting anything in return, we also set an example for others to follow. Our actions speak louder than words, and by giving without strings attached, we inspire others to do the same. This creates a culture of giving, where people look out for one another and work together for the greater good. The more we contribute to this culture, the more we help to foster a world that values connection, empathy, and mutual support. Helping others without expecting anything in return is also an excellent way to build emotional strength. When we offer support, encouragement, or assistance to someone else, we are strengthening our own emotional capacity. It reminds us of our own resilience and the strength we have to help others, regardless of what we may be going through. This type of emotional exchange isn't about seeking validation or reward. It's about being present for another person in their time of need and offering whatever we can, even if it's simply a listening ear. As we continue to help others, we begin to notice something profound. The more we give, the more we receive, but not in the form we might expect. The reward for helping others selflessly is not something that can be quantified or measured. Instead, it comes in the form of inner peace, greater emotional resilience, and a deeper sense of purpose. It's a type of fulfillment that cannot be bought or manufactured. It is found in the act of giving itself. In the end, helping others without expecting anything in return is not just an act of kindness, it's a way of life. It's a mindset that can transform not only the lives of those we help, but also our own. When we give without expecting, we tap into something much larger than ourselves. We become part of a cycle of kindness and generosity that spreads throughout the world, creating positive change wherever it goes. And in doing so, we discover that the true reward of helping others is not what we receive, but the difference we make in the lives of others.
Chapter 36. Take a walk to reset your mental clarity. Taking a walk to reset your mental clarity is one of the most powerful and underrated practices you can incorporate into your daily routine. We live in an age of constant distraction, where our minds are often pulled in countless directions. The pace of modern life can create a sense of mental fog, leaving us feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and unfocused. In such times, stepping outside and taking a walk offers a simple yet profound way to clear the mind, regain perspective, and restore clarity. It's a small action that can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional well-being. When you take a walk, you are not just moving your body, you are giving your mind the opportunity to reset. The act of walking allows you to physically disengage from the world of constant demands, noise, and distractions. It gives you space to breathe, think, and reflect. Even a short walk can create a significant shift in how you feel and think. The rhythm of your footsteps, the fresh air, and the change in environment can act as a reset button for your mental state, allowing you to step back from whatever is causing mental clutter and find a sense of peace and clarity. One of the most profound effects of walking is the way it helps to quiet the mind. We are often so caught up in our thoughts, racing from one task to another, that we forget to take a step back and simply breathe. The movement of walking itself has a calming effect on the body, which in turn calms the mind. The repetitive nature of walking can serve as a gentle meditation. With each step, you create a rhythm that centers your thoughts, allowing you to slow down and focus on the present moment. It's an opportunity to leave behind the noise of your thoughts and tune into your body and the world around you. In addition to helping quiet the mind, walking also provides a valuable opportunity for reflection. It's during these walks that we often have our most creative insights, problem-solving breakthroughs, or moments of clarity. The movement of your body and the change of scenery can trigger new ways of thinking and help you view problems or challenges from a different perspective. Sometimes when we are sitting in front of a screen or buried in our work, it's hard to see things clearly. The act of walking allows you to distance yourself from the problem, giving your brain the space it needs to process and reset. This fresh perspective can be incredibly valuable when you're feeling stuck or unsure of how to proceed with something. Taking a walk also allows you to reconnect with the natural world. Being outside, surrounded by trees, fresh air, or even the hustle and bustle of a city street can help you feel grounded and centered. Nature has a way of reminding us of the bigger picture, helping us to step outside of our own limited world and gain a broader sense of perspective. It's easy to get caught up in our own personal concerns, but when you take a walk in nature, you are reminded that there is more to life than the small challenges and stresses we face on a daily basis. Nature's calming influence can help to soothe a restless mind and bring a sense of peace and clarity. Moreover, walking is an exercise that benefits both the body and the mind. Physical movement has long been known to release endorphins, the body's natural mood boosters. Even a short walk can lift your spirits and help you feel more energized and positive. The combination of movement, fresh air, and a change in scenery has an immediate effect on your mental state. Walking allows you to break away from the rigidity of your daily routine, freeing your body and mind to move with more fluidity. This physical release can help to alleviate the tension and stress that often build up throughout the day. The beauty of walking as a tool for mental clarity is that it doesn't require any special skills or equipment. You don't need to go to a gym or take a class. It's something you can do anytime, anywhere. Whether you're walking around the block, taking a stroll through the park, or hiking through nature, the simple act of walking can have a transformative effect on your mental state. All you need is the willingness to step outside, clear your mind, and take that first step. Another aspect of walking that enhances mental clarity is its ability to allow for a break from technology. We are constantly connected to our phones, computers, and other devices, which can lead to information overload. This constant connectivity can leave our minds feeling cluttered and distracted. When you go for a walk, you have the opportunity to disconnect from technology, leaving behind the constant stream of notifications, emails, and social media updates. This break from technology allows you to regain focus and reconnect with the present moment. In a world that often values productivity above all else, it's easy to feel guilty for taking a break. But the reality is that taking a walk is one of the best ways to increase productivity. When your mind is clear, you can think more clearly, make better decisions, and approach challenges with a fresh perspective. A brief walk can help you avoid burnout, reduce stress, and come back to your work with a renewed sense of focus and energy. Moreover, walking provides an opportunity to step outside of your own internal world and engage with your surroundings. Often we are so absorbed in our own thoughts and concerns that we forget to pay attention to the world around us. A walk allows you to reconnect with your environment, notice small details, and appreciate the beauty in the world. This heightened awareness can bring a sense of gratitude and mindfulness, allowing you to appreciate the present moment, instead of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. One of the most powerful aspects of taking a walk to reset your mental clarity is the opportunity it provides for mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment, without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts and feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. Walking is a natural practice of mindfulness because it encourages you to focus on your movements, your breath, and the world around you. It's a simple, accessible way to practice mindfulness that can have a profound impact on your mental clarity. Incorporating regular walks into your routine can help you build mental resilience. Life is full of challenges, and it's easy to become overwhelmed by the demands of work, relationships, and daily responsibilities. But when you make time to step outside and clear your mind, you build the mental strength to handle stress and uncertainty more effectively. Walking helps you develop the ability to reset when things get overwhelming, allowing you to approach challenges with a sense of calm and perspective. Walking also helps to improve cognitive function. Studies have shown that regular physical activity, including walking, can boost memory, focus,
and problem-solving skills. When you walk, you stimulate blood flow to the brain, which can enhance your mental sharpness and creativity. This is why many great thinkers throughout history have taken long walks as part of their daily routines. The physical movement stimulates the brain and helps to clear mental blockages, allowing new ideas and insights to flow more freely. Lastly, taking a walk allows you to develop a healthy habit that benefits both your body and mind. We are often so focused on our work and responsibilities that we neglect our physical well-being. Walking provides a simple and enjoyable way to prioritize self-care. It's a form of exercise that doesn't require a lot of time or effort, but it can have a lasting impact on both your physical and mental health. When you take a walk to reset your mental clarity, you are giving yourself the opportunity to recharge. You're allowing yourself the space to step away from the chaos of daily life and come back with a fresh perspective. Whether it's to solve a problem, ease stress, or simply clear your head, walking is a powerful tool for restoring mental clarity. It's a simple yet profound practice that can transform the way you think, feel, and approach life. And the best part is, it's something you can do anytime, anywhere, with no special preparation required. So the next time you find yourself feeling overwhelmed or mentally cluttered, take a walk. Your mind and your body will thank you.
Chapter 37. Improve your diet by removing one bad food. Improving your diet starts with one small but impactful change. Over time, the choices you make regarding food directly affect not only your physical health, but also your mental and emotional well-being. Many people get overwhelmed by the idea of overhauling their entire diet all at once. But in reality, small adjustments can have a tremendous impact. One of the most effective ways to begin improving your diet is by removing just one bad food. One food that may be sabotaging your efforts without you even realizing it. Every day we make hundreds of food-related decisions, and some of them may not be in alignment with our health goals. It's easy to fall into habits that are convenient, but not necessarily healthy. The temptation of processed, sugary, or overly salty foods is everywhere. And sometimes we don't even stop to consider the long-term effects they may have on our bodies and minds. However, by identifying and removing just one bad food from your daily routine, you can create a ripple effect that leads to lasting change. The first step in improving your diet by removing one bad food is identifying what's really holding you back. For many people, the culprits are often hidden in everyday convenience foods, snacks, sugary drinks, fast food, or heavily processed meals. These foods are often loaded with empty calories, artificial additives, and unhealthy fats that can contribute to weight gain, inflammation, and fatigue. They also deprive your body of the essential nutrients it needs to function at its best. It's important to reflect on your current eating habits and be honest about the foods that don't serve your health. The next step is to select one food to eliminate. This might seem simple, but it's crucial to choose the right one. It could be something you consume daily, or something that has a big impact on your energy levels or overall well-being. Often, it's the foods that are easiest to access or most comforting that end up being the biggest offenders. Perhaps it's sugary sodas that give you a quick burst of energy, but leave you feeling sluggish later. Maybe it's the processed snacks that are high in sodium, fats, and sugars, contributing to bloating, fatigue, and poor skin health. Or it could be foods that are rich in refined carbohydrates, like white bread or pastries, which cause blood sugar spikes followed by crashes, affecting both your mood and your energy. Once you've identified the food to remove, it's important to understand the underlying reason why it's causing harm. Often, we continue to eat certain foods because they are comforting, habitual, or because we've become reliant on them for quick energy boosts. Understanding the negative impact they have on your body is a powerful motivator. For example, sugary snacks may be linked to a temporary feeling of happiness or satisfaction, but over time they contribute to weight gain, insulin resistance, and inflammation. Processed foods, while convenient, may be full of preservatives and unhealthy fats that strain your digestive system, impair your gut health, and diminish your mental clarity. Removing one bad food isn't just about taking it out of your diet, it's about making room for healthier choices. Once you've eliminated the food that's been holding you back, you can replace it with something nourishing. By removing processed snacks, for instance, you can opt for whole foods like fruits, nuts, or vegetables that will provide your body with much-needed vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. The key is to focus on real, whole foods that will support your health and energy levels, rather than processed alternatives that do the opposite. It's also important to approach this change with a mindset of self-compassion and patience. We often have an emotional attachment to certain foods, and breaking free from these habits can feel challenging. But it's essential to remember that one small change is a step toward a healthier, more sustainable lifestyle. You're not depriving yourself. You're choosing to nourish your body with foods that will support your long-term well-being. It's not about restriction, but about making conscious choices that are aligned with your health goals. As you remove one bad food, you may initially experience cravings or moments of temptation, especially if that food was something you consumed regularly. This is normal, and it's important to give yourself grace during this transition. Cravings can be powerful, but they often pass after a few minutes, especially if you have a healthier alternative on hand. One way to manage cravings is to focus on the benefits of removing the bad food. You may notice improved energy, clearer skin, better digestion, or a greater sense of mental clarity. These positive changes will motivate you to continue making better choices, reinforcing the new habits you're building. Another critical aspect of removing one bad food is recognizing how it might affect your overall health over time. The foods you eat today contribute to the health you experience in the future. By removing a food that has been negatively impacting you, you're taking a proactive step toward better health. The benefits of this change may not be immediately apparent, but as you continue to make healthier choices, you'll begin to notice long-term improvements. This could manifest in better sleep, more consistent energy levels, improved mood, or enhanced cognitive function. The results will become more evident the more consistently you make healthier decisions. In addition to physical health benefits, removing one bad food can have a profound impact on your mental clarity and emotional well-being. Food has a direct connection to how we feel, both physically and emotionally. Processed and unhealthy foods can lead to mood swings, irritability, and sluggishness, while whole, nourishing foods help balance your mood, stabilize your energy, and improve focus. Over time, you'll likely find that your thoughts become clearer and your ability to manage stress improves as your body becomes less reliant on the foods that used to drain you. It's also important to recognize that removing one bad food doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing approach. Life is full of moments of enjoyment and celebration, and occasionally indulging in a food you love doesn't negate the progress you've made. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. By removing one bad food, you're setting a positive precedent for other health-conscious choices. With each decision to prioritize your well-being, you're reinforcing a mindset that supports long-term health. This shift in mindset is one of the most powerful outcomes of this process. Instead of viewing food as a source of comfort or temporary pleasure, you begin to view it as fuel for your body, a tool that allows you to perform at your best and feel your best. In conclusion, removing one bad food from your diet may seem like a small step, but it has the potential to create lasting change. It's an opportunity to build healthier habits, improve your physical and mental well-being, and take control of your health in a sustainable way. By making this change, you're not only improving your diet, but also taking an important step toward becoming the best version of yourself. So identify that one food that's holding you back, remove it from your life, and replace it with something that nourishes you. The benefits will compound over time, and you'll find yourself feeling healthier, more energized, and more focused than ever before.
Chapter 38. Cut negative self-talk and replace it with truth. The way we speak to ourselves shapes our experience of the world, our relationships, and our overall sense of well-being. Negative self-talk can be one of the most insidious forces in our lives. It wears us down, drains our energy, and skews our perception of reality. When we engage in negative self-talk, we create a narrative about ourselves that is filled with doubt, shame, and inadequacy. These thoughts can distort the way we view our abilities, our worth, and our potential. But here's the good news. You have the power to change that narrative. By cutting negative self-talk and replacing it with the truth, you can transform your mindset, strengthen your resilience, and open the door to a life of greater confidence and fulfillment. To begin, it's essential to recognize the impact negative self-talk
has on our lives. Often, these thoughts occur without us even realizing it. They pop up in the quiet moments of our day, and before we know it, we've internalized them as truths. These thoughts often stem from past experiences, societal expectations, or the opinions of others. They may have started as a small comment or criticism, but over time they grow louder, more persistent, and more ingrained in our thinking patterns. These negative thoughts can manifest in many forms. Sometimes they appear as self-doubt, questioning whether you're good enough or capable of achieving your goals. At other times, they may be self-criticism, where you focus on your mistakes, imperfections, or failures. You might tell yourself things like, "I'm not smart enough, I always mess things up," or "I'm not worthy of success." The key to recognizing negative self-talk is to pay attention to the language you use in your internal dialogue. When you start to identify these patterns, you can take the necessary steps to break free from them. The first step in eliminating negative self-talk is awareness. Pay close attention to the thoughts that arise throughout the day. Do they lean toward the positive, or do they often bring you down? Acknowledge these thoughts without judgment. It's important to recognize that these thoughts are not a reflection of your true self. They are simply mental patterns that have developed over time, and they don't define who you are or your potential. Being aware of these thoughts allows you to start the process of changing them. Once you've recognized negative self-talk, the next step is to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? Often we believe the negative stories we tell ourselves without questioning their validity. But when you stop to critically examine them, you'll often find that they are based on assumptions, fears, or past experiences that no longer serve you. For example, you may tell yourself, "I can't do this," but when you reflect on past challenges you've overcome, you realize that you are more capable than you give yourself credit for. By challenging negative self-talk in this way, you can begin to dismantle the power it holds over you. Next, replace these negative thoughts with truth. Instead of telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," counter it with affirmations that reflect your true value and potential. Tell yourself, "I am capable of learning and growing," or "I have the strength to overcome challenges." Replace self-doubt with confidence and shift from a mindset of limitation to one of possibility. The truth is that you are capable, resilient, and deserving of success. By replacing negative self-talk with truth, you begin to shift your internal dialogue from one of criticism to one of encouragement and self-compassion. Another powerful way to cut negative self-talk is through the practice of self-compassion. Often we are our harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards and expect perfection. When we fall short of these expectations, we berate ourselves instead of offering kindness and understanding. But self-compassion is a practice that can help you approach yourself with the same love and empathy you would offer a friend. When you make a mistake or face a setback, rather than launching into self-criticism, remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes. Offer yourself grace and remember that failure is simply a stepping stone on the path to growth. One effective strategy for shifting negative self-talk is the use of positive affirmations. These are short, powerful statements that help reframe your thinking and align your mindset with your true potential. For example, if you often struggle with feelings of inadequacy, you might say to yourself, "I am worthy of love and respect." If you face challenges and tend to doubt your abilities, affirm, "I have the skills and determination to succeed." Affirmations work because they rewire your brain to focus on the positive aspects of yourself and your life, rather than the negative. Over time, these affirmations become ingrained in your subconscious mind, replacing the old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. Another key to breaking the cycle of negative self-talk is mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts without becoming attached to them. Instead of reacting to your thoughts with judgment or emotional reactivity, mindfulness encourages you to simply notice them and let them pass. This practice helps you detach from negative self-talk and recognize it as just a thought, a passing mental event, rather than a truth about who you are. By developing mindfulness, you can create space between your thoughts and your emotional reactions, allowing you to respond to challenges
with greater calm and clarity. It's also important to recognize that replacing negative self-talk with truth isn't a one-time fix, it's an ongoing process. Changing the way you think takes time and consistent effort. However, the more you practice replacing negative thoughts with positive, truth-filled affirmations, the easier it becomes. Each time you catch yourself engaging in negative self-talk and replace it with truth, you are rewiring your brain for success. Over time, these new thought patterns will become second nature, and you'll begin to see yourself and your abilities in a more positive light. Another aspect of cutting negative self-talk is surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people you interact with, the content you consume, and the environments you immerse yourself in all shape your thoughts and beliefs. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, whether through toxic relationships, media, or environments, it can be difficult to break free from negative self-talk. Seek out relationships and experiences that uplift you, inspire you, and encourage you to be your best self. The more you expose yourself to positivity, the easier it becomes to internalize positive messages about yourself. Finally, it's crucial to be patient with yourself throughout this process. Cutting negative self-talk and replacing it with truth is not about perfection, it's about progress. There will be moments when old patterns resurface, and you may find yourself slipping back into negative thinking. When this happens, don't be hard on yourself. Simply acknowledge it, learn from it, and refocus on the truth. The journey of replacing negative self-talk is one of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. It's about choosing to embrace your worth, your potential, and your unique journey, no matter what challenges you face. In conclusion, cutting negative self-talk and replacing it with truth is one of the most empowering steps you can take in your personal growth journey. By challenging the lies you've been telling yourself and replacing them with affirmations of strength, worth, and possibility, you can transform your mindset and your life. Remember that this process takes time, patience, and consistent effort, but with each step forward, you are cultivating a deeper sense of self-belief and inner peace. You are not defined by your negative thoughts, but by the truth of who you are and the limitless potential within you.
Chapter 39. Spend more time in silence and deep thought. In a world that is constantly buzzing with noise, whether it's the relentless flow of information, the constant ping of notifications, or the chatter of others, it can be difficult to find space for reflection. Yet it is in the quiet moments of stillness and deep thought that we unlock the most profound insights about ourselves and the world around us. Silence is not just the absence of noise, but a powerful tool for personal growth, clarity, and understanding. Spending time in silence is a deliberate act of carving out space for the mind to breathe, to process, and to connect with the deeper aspects of our consciousness. In a culture that prizes constant activity and external stimulation, we often forget how valuable silence can be. There's a pervasive belief that being busy equates to being productive, that constant action is the only path to progress. But the truth is, without moments of pause, without the opportunity to step back and reflect, we risk operating on autopilot, reacting to life instead of consciously engaging with it. Silence offers a powerful antidote to this. The first step in embracing silence is recognizing that it is not something to be feared or avoided. Many of us feel uneasy when we're alone with our thoughts. In silence, the noise of the world fades away, and we are left with ourselves, our worries, our doubts, our desires. This can be uncomfortable, but rather than running from this discomfort, we can learn to lean into it, understanding that silence is not a void to be filled, but a space to be explored. In these quiet moments, we can begin to uncover truths about who we are, what we want, and what holds us back from reaching our fullest potential. One of the most powerful benefits of spending time in silence is the clarity it provides. When we are constantly bombarded by external stimuli, our minds become cluttered. The endless stream of information, social media, and opinions can cloud our judgment and prevent us from seeing things clearly. Silence, on the other hand, allows us to quiet the mental noise and tune into our own thoughts. It gives us the opportunity to step back and evaluate our lives from a place of calm and perspective. When we remove distractions, we are better able to assess our goals, our priorities, and the choices we are making. In silence, we can gain insights that would otherwise be drowned out by the noise of daily life. Spending time in silence also helps us reconnect with our intuition. Our minds are often filled with the voices of others, advice, opinions, expectations. But deep within us lies an inner wisdom that knows what is best for us. This inner voice can be difficult to hear amid the noise of everyday life. But when we make space for silence, it becomes easier to listen. Whether it's through meditation, long walks, or simply sitting in solitude, silence allows us to tap into this intuitive wisdom, guiding us in the decisions we make and the path we choose to follow. Silence also nurtures creativity. The constant noise and distractions of the world can stifle our creative potential. Creativity thrives in environments where the mind is free to wander, where there is space for ideas to flow without interruption. When we allow ourselves the gift of silence, we create the conditions for new ideas to emerge. This is why some of the most brilliant insights often come when we least expect them, during a quiet moment in the shower, on a peaceful walk, or when we're alone with our thoughts. Silence provides the fertile ground for creativity to take root and flourish. In addition to fostering clarity, intuition, and creativity, spending time in silence also offers a profound opportunity for self-reflection. We live in a world that encourages constant doing, but it's in the moments of being that we truly come to understand ourselves. When we allow ourselves to simply sit in silence, we open the door to self-discovery. We can reflect on our actions, our values, and our desires, and gain a deeper understanding of what drives us. Through self-reflection, we can identify patterns in our thinking, habits, and behaviors that may no longer serve us, and we can begin to make intentional changes that align with our true selves. Moreover, silence provides an opportunity to cultivate mindfulness. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to become disconnected from the present moment. We often find ourselves dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, and as a result, we miss out on the richness of the present. Spending time in silence allows us to practice mindfulness, to be fully present with our thoughts, emotions, and surroundings. This presence fosters a deep sense of peace and contentment, as we learn to embrace each moment as it comes, without judgment or expectation. Taking time for silence is also crucial for emotional healing. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to ignore our emotional needs. We may push aside our feelings of stress, frustration, or sadness, telling ourselves to just keep going. But this avoidance only leads to emotional burnout. Silence offers a safe space to acknowledge and process these emotions. When we sit quietly with our feelings, we allow ourselves to experience them fully, without distraction or suppression. This practice of emotional awareness and release helps us heal, grow, and move forward with greater resilience. Of course, creating space for silence in our busy lives is not always easy. The demands of work, family, and daily responsibilities can make it challenging to carve out quiet time. However, the key is to approach silence as a non-negotiable practice, something that is just as important as any task or obligation. It's not about finding hours of silence every day, but rather incorporating moments of quiet into your routine. It could be as simple as taking a few minutes in the morning to sit quietly and breathe, or setting aside time in the evening to reflect on your day. Even small doses of silence can have a profound impact on your mental clarity, emotional well-being, and overall sense of peace. Incorporating silence into your life doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as easy as turning off your phone for an hour, stepping away from the noise of social media, or simply sitting outside and listening to the sounds of nature. The key is to allow yourself to be fully present in the moment, without distractions or external input. During this time, you can engage in deep thought, reflect on your goals, or simply allow your mind to rest and reset. The more you practice silence, the easier it becomes to integrate it into your daily routine. Ultimately, spending more time in silence and deep thought is an act of self-care. It is a commitment to your own growth, clarity, and well-being. By embracing silence, you allow yourself to reconnect with your inner wisdom, creativity, and intuition. You create space for self-reflection and emotional healing. And perhaps most importantly, you give yourself the gift of presence, the ability to be fully engaged with your life, moment by moment.
In a world that is constantly rushing, silence offers the stillness we need to truly understand who we are and what we want from life. It's through this stillness that we find the clarity and peace we need to move forward with purpose and intention.
Chapter 40. Do something uncomfortable to build real confidence. Confidence is one of those traits that everyone strives for, but few truly understand how to build in a meaningful and lasting way. It's often thought of as something inherent, a characteristic that some people simply have, while others do not. But in reality, confidence is not a fixed quality. It is something that can be developed and strengthened over time. And the key to doing so lies in embracing discomfort. The very act of pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone is what forges true confidence, the kind that is unshakable and resilient. We all have fears. We all have things that make us feel uneasy, vulnerable, or unsure of ourselves. But rather than avoiding these discomforts, we must learn to confront them head on. Confidence is not built by sitting in the safe confines of what is familiar and comfortable. It is built through challenge, growth, and overcoming the things that once seemed daunting or impossible. Every time you step into discomfort, you're investing in a stronger, more capable version of yourself. It's easy to stay within the boundaries of what feels safe. The fear of failure, judgment, or embarrassment can keep us trapped in a cycle of inaction. We tell ourselves that we're not ready, not capable, or not worthy of success. But these thoughts are merely limitations that we impose on ourselves. They're the stories we've been telling ourselves for years, reinforcing the belief that we can't do something before we even attempt it. The truth is, we often hold ourselves back, not because we lack the ability, but because we're afraid of what might happen if we try. The first step in building confidence is recognizing that these fears and doubts are normal. Everyone feels them. Everyone experiences moments of insecurity. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones don't let their fears dictate their actions. They acknowledge the discomfort, but they don't allow it to paralyze them. Instead, they use it as fuel to push forward, knowing that the discomfort they feel is a sign that they are on the right path. Discomfort is a signal that growth is happening. One of the most effective ways to build confidence is by regularly doing something that scares you. This might seem counterintuitive. Why would you want to intentionally make yourself uncomfortable? But the truth is, when you challenge yourself and face your fears, you expand your capabilities. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Each time you step into discomfort, you're proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws your way. It doesn't matter whether the task is big or small. The act of pushing through discomfort is what builds your self-assurance. It's important to start small. You don't have to dive into something monumental right away. The key is to build a habit of stepping outside your comfort zone, even in the smallest ways. It could be something as simple as striking up a conversation with a stranger, making a phone call that you've been avoiding, or taking on a new challenge at work that pushes your skills to their limits. The goal isn't to conquer everything at once, but to get used to the feeling of discomfort and to see that you are capable of moving through it. Each time you do this, you gain a little more confidence. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more resilient you become. It's like building muscle at the gym. At first, the exercises feel difficult, and the soreness is overwhelming. But with each repetition, you become stronger. Confidence works the same way. The more you challenge yourself, the more you prove to yourself that you are strong enough to handle what's ahead. And this doesn't just apply to big challenges. Small discomforts accumulate over time and build a foundation of self-belief. Another powerful way to build confidence is by embracing failure as a stepping stone rather than a setback. Fear of failure often holds people back from even trying. We worry about what others will think if we don't succeed, or we fear the consequences of making a mistake. But the reality is that failure is an inevitable part of growth. It is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed. Each failure is a lesson, an opportunity to learn and improve. When you fail and keep going, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling setbacks, that your value isn't tied to your success or failure, but to your resilience and determination. When you step into discomfort, you also develop a stronger sense of self-reliance. Confidence comes from within. It's not dependent on external validation or approval. When you take action, even when you're afraid, you're telling yourself that you are worthy of success, that you are strong enough to face challenges, and that you have the power to shape your own future. Each small victory, whether it's finishing a difficult task, overcoming a fear, or taking on a new responsibility, adds to your belief in yourself. Furthermore, taking on discomfort also builds your mental toughness. Life is full of challenges, and not every situation will be easy. When you get used to being uncomfortable, you prepare yourself for the inevitable obstacles that will come your way. You train your mind to stay calm under pressure, to persevere through adversity, and to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. This mental fortitude is what sets successful people apart. It's not that they don't experience setbacks, but that they have the resilience to keep going in the face of them. It's important to note that building confidence through discomfort is not about being reckless or putting yourself in harm's way. It's about challenging yourself to grow and to expand your boundaries. It's about doing the things that scare you, but in a way that is calculated and intentional. It's about stepping into the unknown and trusting yourself to handle whatever comes next. And most importantly, it's about embracing the process of growth rather than focusing solely on the outcome. There will be times when you feel like giving up. There will be times when the discomfort feels overwhelming and you question whether it's worth it. But this is where true growth happens, when you continue to push forward, even when things aren't easy. Remember, confidence isn't about never feeling fear or doubt. It's about feeling those things and choosing to move forward anyway. Each time you do this, you become stronger, more capable, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. Confidence is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a continuous process of stepping into discomfort, learning from failure, and growing stronger with each step. Every time you push yourself beyond what feels comfortable, you're building the foundation for a life of self-assurance and inner strength. So embrace the discomfort. Take that first step into the unknown. Trust yourself.